Sibling dynamics, still very messy. Marianne, she's still clinically insane.
Now that I know about George's ex-boyfriend, can I even root for Sam?
I'm gonna throw it up, I'm gonna throw it up.
That's foul. That's foul. Whoa.
It just felt like fanfic. Humor that goes into it is very millennial 13-year-old boy humor. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I blended into the wall. It's too late. I'm already wearing a white shirt, but guess what? April's new release month. I have a bunch of new releases to read. It's finals, so I have to be tip-tapping away for my paper, so I don't have like the most allotted time to just like binge books. I'm gonna be reading some of my most anticipated reads. I know there's like some new releases. I know Sunrise on the Reaping came out in March, but I want to read the Hunger Games trilogy before I read Sunrise on the Reaping because I already read Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. What else is on my radar? One author that I love that came out with the book yesterday. Today's April 2nd. Yesterday, April 1st, Jessa Hastings released her new book, which was The Conditions of Will. I went and grabbed it. I'm going to be reading this one and the Emily Henry new book in this reading vlog. Emily Henry's book comes out April 22nd, so a long ways away, 20 days away. So this reading vlog is like really low stakes. I'm just reading new releases that I'm super duper excited for. So we have Jessa Hastings book and Emily Henry book for sure in this reading vlog. We'll see if I pick up any new releases. On to Conditions of Will. I don't really know much. I started reading this last night. 14 pages in. What I'm gathering in the first 14 pages and the summary, I'm instantly pulled back into Jessa's writing. Jessa's writing is like so distinct. Like you just feel so in the inner mind of a main character. Like the way she writes her characters is like the way that you live your life. Like you think of just stupid things and you're like, you hold on to them. That's like, it's part of you. So that's what I feel like whenever I'm reading her characters. And so Georgia, she is the youngest Carter sibling and their family is from South Carolina, like before count South Carolina. And that's like, it's like beach country. It's like not as distinct, it's not as Outer Banks as Outer Banks is, but it's near Savannah. That's where we're set. So South Carolina, low country, South Carolina area, and I'm from North Carolina. So I don't know. I don't know anything about like that area, but I watched Outer Banks. I'm like clicking it a little bit. So that's the setting for this. Georgia, she is London based. She like works in London, so I love that. But she has 3 older siblings. In the order, I'm gonna say it's Georgia, she works in London. Oliver is the second born son, 3rd youngest, right? And he is a gay recovering alcoholic and he's LA based, and both of them like they don't speak to their family a lot of the time, and so they're really estranged from their family because they're kind of like seen as the black sheep of the family. Next is Marianne, which is the oldest sister, and she's like really involved with the family. And then the top guy, oldest son, is Tennyson or Tenny. I don't know anything about the first two because I'm only 14 pages in. The 2 older siblings are like seen as the family's pride and joy. In this family, Georgia is like, she holds some ill will to them because of how she's been treated, and also Oliver's been treated by their family. Then Georgia gets a call from Marianne, and Marianne is like, Dad's dead. He died of a heart attack, so you gotta come back to South Carolina. That's the plot right now. So they're coming to South Carolina. They're reading the will. This is a standalone book. I'm excited to see how it goes. I think it's like 450-ish pages. I'm excited. I love Jessa's writing. I want to see how it all unfurls, especially because like this seems to be more like a family drama. There is like a romance in it. I know it's between Georgia and Sam, who are instantly drawn to each other, but Sam is Oliver's A&A sponsor, and so he's in charge of keeping her brother sober. But because Oliver likes Sam, it's a mess. We'll see how that works out. I'm excited to read it. Hi guys, I'm not gonna be able to read for, honestly, like probably not until like nighttime for the next like 4 days because I'm going to like a film festival thing, but I just wanted to give you my initial thoughts on The Conditions of Will. Technically started this like 2 nights ago, but I only read like 15 pages, but I am officially 132 pages in and I'm loving it. It's just so messy. Right around like the 100-page mark, you like find something out. Like you kind of like can guess it a little bit, but you find something out like specifically, and it literally almost made me cry. I was like, I'm literally only 100 pages in. Why do I care so much about these characters? That's crazy. Sibling dynamics, still very messy. Marianne, she's still clinically insane. There are some like really good quotes. I posted one on my story and it was just like the interaction with Sam Penny, the like, I don't know if he's like considered the main male character, but he's like the love interest, like he's the crush. And so they meet for the first time, they have their meet cute. Georgia thinks that he's Oliver, her gay brother's like low-key boyfriend, plaything type of like friends with benefits. She thinks that he's gay, and so he's actually his sponsor, but that's that. She thinks he's gay, and she's literally just feeling him up. She's like, wow, you're just so hot, you're so pretty. The way I'm saying it, it doesn't hit, but when you read the book, it hits. Like, Sam is just like, he's a 6'4" Australian dude who likes coffee, lives in LA. He's just like that epitome of like, duh, like that guy. I'm loving him. I think his dynamic with Georgia is so good, and it's like, because Georgia and even Oliver, like even her closest like person in the family besides her aunt and uncle, they haven't spoken a lot recently, and so like he's like making assumptions about Georgia, and she's like, but like, that's not really what I am, that's not really all I am, is this all you think about me? And so it's just like that. I really enjoy their dynamic. So like, I think she's a psychology and like something, she's a behavioral analysis, like science and psychology like major, I think. She's doing her master's in Cambridge, and so she's super duper smart. So she's like, she recognized and like can read faces really easily. That's like what the whole book is about basically. And it's just like, Georgia knows things to make people tick and knows like just like what they're thinking if they're lying and stuff like that. So very Spencer Reed type of beat, but I'm enjoying her. She's funny and she's witty, and so it's good, but she's not like overly bitchy like Magnolia, but like I love Magnolia, so like she gives more Daisy vibes but with a hint of Magnolia. Sam Penny, he is really okay. Jenya, she's one of my mutuals. She has a booktube channel. She loves the Magnolia Park series too. I'll link her channel below, but she was texting me, and because she went to the signing for Jessa, and she was like, this is like canonically in the universe of Magnolia Parks. And so I was like, okay. I was like, who do you think Sam gives? And she was like, I think he gives Henry and Christian. And I 1000% agree. Sam gives so Christian vibes, but then also he's like really like fun and just like kind of lighthearted in a way that Christian isn't, that Henry is, and it's just amazing. I love it. The plot's like picking up a little bit because we're seeing more of the dynamic between Georgia and her strange family. So her mom and her sister are like the biggest like backlash she's been getting, and she's also in like a very conservative small town in the South, so they're very like Christian, like very traditional, and how they're just being homophobic. So there's that. I'm enjoying it. I love it. It's just so easy to read, and I love it. I love the characters. I just love the way Jessa's writing makes me feel. So I'm gonna continue on reading it, but a halt is gonna be in like the reading, because I'm also reading another book for class, which isn't a part of this video, but this is like a classic. So those are my thoughts on The Conditions of Will, and I love it so far. I love it. Hi guys. Long time no talk. I'm just gonna say it out right. I think I started this book on Tuesday or Wednesday, so when it came out, and on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, a majority of Sunday, I was MIA and I couldn't read Conditions of Will. I also have a classic that I have to read for this class, so I've been like putting my effort into that book, so I just haven't had the time to read Conditions of Will. I watched 9 documentary films in the span of 3 days. By the time I came home, tired, couldn't even read. I am on page 230 of Conditions of Will, which is literally halfway through. I just think there's a way that Jessa Hastings' writing makes me feel, and I love it. I love how it makes me feel. I love how I get so connected. I think I don't know if I'm gonna include the clip that I took last night when I was reading. I think this is certifiably insane that I'm reading The Conditions of Will and I am crying over a couple, a relationship that was only in it for 12 pages, and it's just talking about Georgia's ex-boyfriend. Like, I shed tears, like they were about to fall down. That's embarrassing. Almost as embarrassing as this lisp. Yeah, started at 2:04, the like flashback with the relationship, and ends at 2:16. Why did I cry? Georgia's ex-boyfriend is talked about, and if you know anything about, like, if you've seen like a lot of stuff, but Jessa Hastings said this in the book signing for this book, and the event for this book, it's loosely connected to the Magnolia Parks universe. This is set in the future. That's all I know. Georgia's ex-boyfriend is basically involved with like Julian's like whole crime empire type of beat. Georgia's ex-boyfriend broke up with her because of that like thing. Their relationship was talked about for a span of 12 pages, and I shed tears. I don't know if that doesn't say anything, that's insane. Like, I just think it's just so crazy the way that love is talked about. I'm gonna read. Okay, this is by the ex-boyfriend. It's literally not even, If it is a spoiler, go 10 seconds ahead. It's gonna feel for a minute like I went and broke your heart and fucked you up. I swear to God, Jeej, it's the other way around. You're going to fall in love in a few months with someone who's not like me at all, and I'm not gonna fucking loathe you for it. But I need you to let me go because I probably can't let go of you. I love you more than I meant to. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. That's the quote. Tell me that doesn't hurt your heart. Tell me that does not hurt your heart. Like I said, the plot is pretty much the same. I don't know when I last updated you, but there's been more talks about like the past while Georgia was still in South Carolina and before she went over to the UK. We're gaining more information about like the whole entire family basically. There has been talks about, it's probably like very minimal. I just seen like the few things that I have seen about it. There are like some talks about like why are Sam and Georgia spending time together? How I view Oliver's character, because Oliver is a alcoholic and he's in rehab and he has a sponsor, which is Sam. I don't know much about like sponsors and everything like that. I watched Beautiful Boy, the film that is based on a memoir of the father of a drug addict, and so it's just like different to see, and just like the way my only real like point of connection is the way that I don't know the character, I don't know like the person's name, but Timothy Chalamet's character, his relationship with his sponsor, which is like very together, like it's a relationship that like is supposed to help one another, but I just think like because Sam is Oliver's sponsor, in my opinion, Sam doesn't have to hover over Oliver all the time. Like I know that there are a bunch of triggers, especially with this like big monumental moment of a parent's death. It's just like, it feels in my opinion like what people want Sam to just always cater to Oliver, even though Oliver in this book up until this point has done some messed up shit that I think is like, honestly, I feel like Georgia is like brushing it off because she loves her brother so much and how mistreated he's been in this family his whole entire life. And so I guess like she's excusing that behavior, and I understand it completely on her part, and I understand like why Oliver's doing what he's doing, but I think that the argument that Sam and Oliver should always be like attached at the hip is just not right in my, I don't know, because I guess like it is Sam's job to keep Oliver sober as well, but it's also Oliver's job to want and to try to be sober. So that's like my whole thoughts on like the situation right now at this point. Oliver's also done something else messed up, but like that's just like human flaw, human nature of like being obsessed with somebody else. I'm seeing the flaws both ways. Those are my thoughts and everything like that right now. So honestly, now that I know about George's ex-boyfriend, can I even root for Sam? Like that's like my feeling right now, because like can I even like root for Sam, especially because Georgia does not want to stay in South Carolina. Sam's in LA, and then Georgia wants to go back, she needs to go back to the UK, and she feels most safe at the UK. Can I even root for Sam? Like this is how, I guess this is how Magnolia and Julian fans are, because I've always loved Magnolia and BJ, and I always only ever see them together. Yeah, like the situation with Julian was different. They're just never like in my head. I'm never really fantasizing about them because I know that Magnolia belongs with BJ forever. And so I guess am I Georgia and her ex-boyfriend fan more than Georgia and Sam? Honestly, right now I think I am. Like I think the moments between Sam and Georgia are really like sweet and very wholesome. She understands people in a different way than anybody else, and then Sam sees a different side of her than anybody else, especially because we're only introduced to her family's perception of Georgia and how like she's a know-it-all. She does her like weird lie detector type of beat and psychoanalyzes people. Sam sees past that and just like wants to know how she really is without hiding behind her abilities to read people. And so he's like the only one that is really like wondering and like wants to know Georgia on a deeper level other than her surface level, what she puts out and everything like that. And so that's really sweet, but nothing hits like like forbidden love, basically, like Georgia and her ex-boyfriend to me. So I guess I feel like that's gonna ruin my perception of the rest of the book. Maybe if Sam like steps it up a little bit, but I'm team Georgia and X. So I finished The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. I'm giving it 4.5 stars. I do think if I continue to think about this, it could be bumped up later on in life. I want this story to continue. I really enjoy these characters. I want to know more about their lives. After South Carolina, there is like a small little epilogue basically about like the aftermath of the funeral and everything like that for Georgia's father and what they find out in the will and stuff like that. And so I really enjoyed the characters. I'm not sure I really enjoyed the setting. It just feels like, I don't know, I've never watched White Lotus, but it feels like season 3 White Lotus, like the Carolina like elite families and stuff like that. I did enjoy Georgia. I love Georgia. I said this in a Goodreads review. She reminds me of Bridget and Daisy from the Magnolia Parks universe. Like, she just gives Bridget and Daisy. I think her personality, she gives Daisy a lot of the time, and I love Daisy. But she's also very Bridget coded, and both of them are very smart women. Georgia's also really smart. She is actually doing her PhD. She already finished her master's, but she is doing her PhD in Cambridge. So yeah, she's doing behavioral sciences and like psychology. There is that one section, like the ex-boyfriend. I finally get the Magnolia and Julian stands. So I loved that. I low-key wish we got a little bit more after South Carolina. I'm just so greedy. That's the word. I'm just so greedy for Jessa's writing and her universe that she creates. But yeah, this just got me so excited for the 3rd Daisy book. Whenever that does come out, I'll be sitting first in line ready to get my copy. And my Barnes & Noble, my local one, it's like a pretty small one. It's not like one of the big ones, but like they only had like 4 copies of the book out, and it was like on a weird stand. It wasn't like anywhere else. I low-key think I was the first person to buy this book at that Barnes & Noble, which is crazy. I said 4.5 stars. The only reason I'm not giving it like a higher rating, like a 4.75, is because I don't subscribe to the idea of 4.75s. If a book is a 4.75, it's just gonna be a 5 stars. You know what I mean? Like, at that point, there are some things in my 5-star books that I don't like, but they're 5 stars anyways. You know what I mean? So this one is 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed Sam Penny in the beginning a lot, but like also there's one thing, I'm gonna actually talk about it. There's gonna be a spoiler section. I'm gonna say go to this timestamp if you don't want any spoilers. First of all, Oliver, her gay brother, I loved the beginning where Georgia is like talking about like their whole shared trauma of like, not shared trauma, but like her trying to be so like protective over Oliver because of how his family is treating him and how the whole town treats him basically. I do think that Oliver goes too far sometimes, and it's not because of his alcoholism. That goes into part of it at the end of the book basically. Okay, I wrote this down in my notes, but this is pre-freak out, but like it's just crazy. I'm just really not on Oliver's side. I don't know if I'm too far into Georgia's POV, but things that Oliver has been doing is truly fucked up in my head. I don't know if I'd be on some sort of high horse as Georgia, but she's always been there forever. Gave him half of her inheritance so that her grandfather just cut Oliver out completely. So there was like $3 million for the 3 kids, and her grandpa left off Oliver, and then she split her $3 million inheritance with Oliver, so they each got like 1 point something million. Gave him half her inheritance, put him into rehab, albeit by extreme circumstances that I would be angry about. And he just questions why she didn't tell him about Beckett, who raped her when she was 14 for a lot of it. Sides with Marianne. There's no going back or redeeming qualities for her in this book, and I understand that he's always going to be a people pleaser to his family who haven't really needed or wanted him, and so he has to do it in his head, like he justifies it because of that. But Marianne is like very distinctly a narcissist, and she only does it to get in favor and like get back at Georgia, or like if it's for her benefit. This is seen especially at the end where he's getting all of the money in his dad's checking account if he's sober for 500 days or something like that, and Marianne is just like leaning onto him, and then when she realizes that sobriety clause is like very set in stone in the will, and he will not get that money unless he's sober for 500 plus days, she leaves his life basically. And I'm like, oh my fucking god. He also blatantly lied about George's ex to Sam. Delusional in my opinion on his part, because he knows Sam is straight. He knows, and he can see the attraction from both of them. He is so angry when he could just be sad. I get the anger, but to that extreme, it's just insane to me. Also, there has been a few comments on how Sam and Oliver relationship is weird, especially with Sam spending so much time with Georgia. But my opinion, which I don't have extensive knowledge about this, I've barely interacted with or known about sponsors and how the sponsors / sponsee or alcoholic and addict relationships and dynamics. Sam shouldn't be expected to always be by Oliver's side. I do think my frame of reference is Beautiful Boy. Timothy Chalamet's sponsor, he's there for him, but he's not guiding his hand every step of the way. Like, he's not hovering. I don't know, like, I feel like that's how people are wanting Sam to be with Oliver. I'm just like, he does not need to be monitoring everything. I guess my thing is, like, sponsors are supposed to help the person with their addiction and not control them. I think if Sam was always with Oliver, that'd be controlling. And that point, it's like, does Oliver even want to become sober without Sam's help and stuff like that? And so that is talked about later in the book. This is before all that happened. That's my opinion on like the Sam Oliver type of thing. And I do like in the end how it's revealed that Sam is still helping Oliver, especially after he like cuts him off and he's like, no, I'm gonna be with Georgia, I'm moving to London and stuff like that. That's the end of the spoiler thoughts. I enjoyed it. I liked the characters. I had some little conniptions. Sometimes I was like so angry, but I got over it, and here we are. This book's finished, and now I have to wait until a new release comes out. Right now I'm reading The Hunger Games because I want to read Sunrise on the Reaping, so I have to read the first. I want to read the first book specifically, but if I want to continue and read the whole first trilogy, I'll do that. But I think the first book is my focus right now. Sunrise on the Reaping is also a book club book, but the new Abby Jimenez book, I've just seen some horrible things for it. Like, content wise, it's just like very cringe, and I honestly think that's why I sometimes don't really care for Abby Jimenez books. Like, I liked Just for the Summer enough, especially that one quote, but I just don't think her humor, her millennial humor, is for me specifically. So I think that sometimes I'm pushing away from those books because of that. Also, I just don't really care for like the ACOTAR references that are mentioned in the book. I think I watched a TikTok and the first 25 pages are like 100 pages. The word butthole is used like 40 times, and I was like, that's excessive. It's crazy. I don't know if I'm gonna read the Abby Jimenez book, but I will read the Emily Henry book, and on my radar is Sunrise on the Reaping. So this reading vlog will continue with those new releases whenever I get to the chance to read them. But yeah, okay, bye. Hi guys, I have the second book, Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I got the Barnes & Noble exclusive, so it has like pink with the red and the orange and the yellow. And there's a sun. I don't know any of the main characters' names. Alice and Hayden are the two writers that are vying for the spot to write Margaret's story. I've watched Rachel Catherine's reading vlog, like non-spoiler reading vlog about this, and her rating on it. So I heard that this is a lot more plot focused than romance focused, and so I'm just ready to dive in. I don't know how long it is. I don't even want to check. I'm guessing by the size of it, like 400. Yeah, 410 is what I just opened up to, but like it's got gingham end pages, which is fun. Okay, let's see the color of the book. Oh, it's pink. Oh, it's all pink. Oh, it's fully pink. Oh, it was brief and it was beautiful. Oh, wait, stop. Oh my god, what a great naked hardcover. I think this is her best naked hardcover yet. But I love the blue gingham. I think it might be my favorite cover. Here's Beach Read. I've annotated this one. People Will Meet on Vacation. Okay, Book Lovers. It's between Happy Place and Great Big Beautiful Life are my favorites. Like cover wise. I think Great Big Beautiful Life, it's just like so different. Because all the other ones are very basic in the coloring. Oh, I annotated this one. Didn't even remember doing that. Didn't remember doing that. But this is my favorite, like, spine. I love the funny story spine. So yeah, for my Emily Henry ranking, if you don't know, this happened this time last year, but my favorite is Happy Place. It's my top Emily Henry book. It's my favorite ever. Then it is Beach Read, Book Lovers, Funny Story, and then People Will Meet on Vacation. I think it's pretty definitive because I read basically every Emily Henry book last year, and so they're all pretty fresh in my mind, and I remember what I liked about them, what I don't like about them. I reread Book Lovers and I just like fell in love with it. I loved it. So yeah, it went up in the ranking, but this is the Emily Henry ranking pre Great Big Beautiful Life. My prediction is that it's gonna be my fourth favorite, so it's gonna be in between Funny Story and Book Lovers. Book Lovers will still be number 3. Great Big Beautiful Life will be number 4. So that's my prediction. How do you store your Emily Henry books? My Emily Henry books are in publication order, but stacked. So the newest one's at the bottom and Beach Read is at the top. I'm gonna read this. Right now I'm actually reading Mockingjay, the third Hunger Games book in the original trilogy, and then I'm going to actually read Sunrise on the Reaping. I've just been in a Hunger Games phase. Instead of doing my projects, I've been watching people react to the Hunger Games movies, and so I watched these two British men watch the Hunger Games for the first time ever, and just their reactions were just so good. I went down a rabbit hole, and so now I'm like, right now I'm in my movie reaction watching phase. I watched them watch Legally Blonde. I love when people watch Legally Blonde. I had this YouTube channel that I used to watch all the time, Real Time. I was obsessed with them, and I still am obsessed with them. I watch them, like I skim through their whole, like them reacting to Daisy Jones and the Six again, and I watched them watch Love, Simon recently, cried. I've been procrastinating, even editing, doing my schoolwork and everything like that, so, and reading. I think I want to finish Mockingjay before I start this. So yeah, but we're gonna read Sunrise on the Reaping in this video. Yeah, I should be working on my papers. I'm just getting right into it. No transition, but I think I do love the blue gingham the most. I don't know if I told you. I don't think I did. There is a Target exclusive. I don't know what color the Walmart exclusive or like the Books A Million exclusive are. The Target exclusive has red and like reddish pink white gingham that goes diagonal, which is like a little strange, I guess, but I really like that one too. But I think blue is my favorite. I just think it literally contrasts the book so well. But I do like the blue the best. Maybe I'm, what's it called, projecting because I got this version. I'm 74 pages in. I'm really enjoying the way that the plot is unfolding. I think Rachel Catherine, she was like, when she was reading it, she just wasn't like feeling the most up to it. I've only watched one reading vlog of someone reading this, and it's Rachel Catherine, so I'm gonna keep talking about Rachel Catherine. No shame in that. I love Rachel Catherine. I'm enjoying the plot. I think I've seen some things that like people not really caring about the plot. I know Emmy Rossum, she also read this book and she gave it 5 stars. She loved it. I'm enjoying our main character Alice, and I do like Hayden, the main guy character. I don't know, he's just like, he's getting me giggly. I haven't felt this in a long time. That's such a lie. I literally read a really good romance last month, and I read a fine one this month. I really do enjoy all the characters separately. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about like the romance when it starts amping up, but like I like the characters separately. I like Hayden. I like his like personality. I like how he interacts with Alice, and I love Alice. She's like such a, honestly, a breath of fresh air because she's so positive, and we'll definitely get more into that. Like those positivities like are like they do have consequences, and she's seen that they do have consequences, but she just like, that's just the way she copes with everything. And so I'm excited to see where that goes on from, because I do really enjoy her character, but I don't know if it's gonna fall into like another character that was super duper positive that I read this month. I think it was London Perry, of the author. The Passion Project, where the main guy character was like seen as super duper bubbly and like super outgoing, super nice, like always so positive, but he doesn't want to just be known for that. Like, and I want to see more of like the breaking down barriers of Hayden, because right now he really feels like Gus from Beach Read. Also, I saw a TikTok and it was like at like a launch, not a launch party, what's it called? Release parties. The release parties for like the Emily Henry books, and it was like a chart, and it was like put a tally on like your favorite Emily Henry male main character, and like Miles had significantly more fans than Wynne Connor. What? Are you guys joking? I love Wynne Connor. I love Wynne Connor. I feel like none of the Emily Henry books like have felt that angsty to me, and I'm just such an angst girl. Like, I feel like the most angsty ones are honestly People Living on Vacation. Even though it's like my lowest rated Emily Henry book, I think it's like still like a 3.75 or a 4, but I feel like those are the most angsty because there's a history of it. And so like Wynne and Harriet's story is like very exes to lovers, but they still hold those feelings, but they're just like miscommunication type of beat. And then People Moving on Vacation is very like, they were friends for so long, they they stopped becoming friends, and then now they're reunited again. Those angsty feelings are like still there. So I feel like those are the most angsty, and so that's maybe why I liked Happy Place a lot more. I don't know what that spiel was, but right now Hayden's giving Gus from Beach Read. He's just very like closed off, and he's very blah 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 blah. But let me get you up to speed to the plot, I guess. So basically the plot is Alice is a writer. She's obsessed with this fading socialite that was very like really popular back then, and so she hasn't been seen for like 30 years. She kind of like fell off the face of the planet, and she tracks her down and like proposes that she can write her biography because she's like 80 years old now, and so she's like, I want to write your biography. She has a meeting down with the socialite Margaret, and Margaret, she's living in Georgia. Her family like made this media empire, and so they're super duper famous. She also married this like really famous musician. I don't know anything about Elvis and Priscilla, but that's what it's like kind of giving, but like a healthy version of that is what I'm picking up so far. I might regret that because I think I'm gonna watch the Sofia Coppola Priscilla movie today. So Alice tracks her down. She tracks down Margaret. Margaret's like, okay, you can come to my house in Georgia. I think this is like one of my favorite settings it's been. I don't know, maybe it's because I read The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings, and that is in like the South Carolina beachy area, and so this is also in the Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina area, and so like that's where like that's my domain. It's not my actual domain. I'm more of a city girl than like a beach girl, but like that's my domain. So like I those areas are like feel really homey to me. I don't know, they just feel like home to me, more so than like Maine, like, and Michigan in her other books, because it does feel like Evelyn Hugo, but Margaret is so much like more personable than Evelyn Hugo. Like I don't know if like people are just like comparing to Evelyn Hugo because it's like kind of like that same dynamic. Then this other guy, oh my god, as Alice is leaving Margaret's house, she's like, okay, my 2 o'clock appointment's here. Lo and behold, Hayden Anderson, I think that's a name. Alice immediately clocks who he is. He's a Pulitzer Prize winning biographer. So he like wrote a biography, he got a Pulitzer Prize for it. She loves his book, she loves his work. So he's also vying for the spot to be the biographer for Margaret's life story, basically. And so that's that. They are here for a 1-month trial to see whether or not Margaret wants them to write her book, basically. I'm enjoying it. I said that already, said that like 40 times, but I'm gonna go read. I feel like this came out of left field. I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel. I just don't know how it's gonna make the story go. You know what I mean? I'm gonna throw it up. I'm gonna throw it up. I'm gonna throw it up. That's foul. That's foul. Whew. Okay, bye. I think Hayden and Alice's banter is one of the funniest in the Emily Henry universe. I think the other banter that I really remember being like super duper good is Charlie Lastra and Nora. I don't know her last name. Do I know January? We're gonna look this up, but I think it's January Andrews or yeah, something. It starts with an A. And then Augustus Everett. I don't know Nora's last name, so my guess is Nora Roberts. I don't fucking know. Charlie Lastra, Poppy Wright, I think that's her name. Alex Nielsen. I'm a fake Emily Henry fan. Okay. And then Harriet. Oh my fucking god, this is embarrassing. Harriet something. And then Wynn Connor. Harriet A, B, C, D. I don't know Harriet's last name. Okay, and then it's just this one, which is Hayden Anderson and what's her name? Alice Scott. January Andrews. I think I said that. And Augustus Everett. Okay. 1 for 1. Book lovers. Nora Stevens. No. Charlie Lastra. I know Charlie. Only on occasion. Poppy Wright. I think I got that one right. Alex Nielsen. I got that one right. Harriet Kilpatrick. Definitely wouldn't have gotten that one. She's my favorite though. And then Wynn Connor. I knew that. Oh, I forgot about Funny Story. Oh my god. I totally forgot about that. I forgot about the book. Miles. I don't know his last name. Miles and Daphne. Daphne Stevens. Daphne S. I think it's Daphne S. Vincent. Miles Nowick. Oh, yeah, no. I won't hook on that. Okay, so boo-hoo. Okay, but back to the banter between Alice and Hayden. I think it's just really sweet. It's just really cute. So I'm gonna read you like a text chain. This isn't spoilers. If it's spoilers, skip ahead and I'll tell you when to stop. But I just think it's so cute. So it says, when the first text from an unknown number with a New York area code buzzes in, hello. Nothing else, just hello. I smiled to myself. Okay, and then hello with an exclamation point. I write back, who is this? He says, wow, okay, 6 weeks of fiery passion and you've already forgotten me? Sorry, I have the wrong number, is what he says. Isn't this Hayden? He says, and then he says, I'm really sorry, I have no idea who this is. You texted me. I'm just kidding, it's me, Alice. And then Scott, her last name, and he writes, from the scratch? And she said, from that tiny island you're currently on. Oh, that Alice really had me scared for a minute. I was looking back through my calendar for a 6-week stretch of fiery passion, and it's just so cute. Like, he was like, I don't know why that really got me. I really loved it. Also, I did cry. Why did I cry? Why did I cry, you might ask? I don't know, it was very just like, I don't know, I just felt what Alice was feeling. It was just so embarrassing that I was like, girl, I feel you, and I feel the hurt that you're feeling right now. Like, I don't know, Emily Henry just knows how to put that feeling across, and I literally sobbed. Not sobbed, but like, I shed a lot of tears. I wasn't like full on crying, but I was just like, this is so embarrassing. Like, if I was in her position, I would just start bawling. Yeah, I'm just an empath. Also, something about I don't know, this is like a new font, but like, I'm really not vibing with it. I don't remember it being as hard to read as any of the other Emily Henry books, but there are some text chains, like some like messaging aspects of the book that, like, not just between Hayden and Alice, but like with Alice and her friends, her group of friends, we don't really see them. We just see those like moments of like them talking in a group chat, but like the group chat is not like it's not like how other books have text chains with like the bubble. This one is very like, it's just in a different font, but the font's really hard to read and it's hard to differentiate from the main story and then the text, and so I really have to like lock in, and I'm not really vibing with the font of the book itself. I don't know, it's not like serif, canvas sans, if you know what that is, and it looks very different, and sometimes it's hard to like, I don't know, sometimes it's hard for me to read it, I guess. So I don't remember if any of the other Emily Henry books look like this, because I saw the TikTok and I was like, reading the Emily Henry font, blah, blah, blah. And like, are all of her books this font? Because I don't remember it being this hard to read. Maybe I was just like really tired last night when I was like starting the book basically. And so I was like, this is like not, how am I can't do this right now. I don't know. I'm still having that issue when I'm awake and cognizant, so I'm liking the banter. I feel like everyone's lying to me. What do you mean this is not romantic? What do you mean that this isn't a romance? Like, people are like, yeah, focus on the plot. This is a romance. This is pure romance to me. It's pure giddy romance. What are you guys talking about? Like, yeah, I'm actually like really confused. Good morning, sunshines. I am continuing on reading Great Big Beautiful Life. I'm on page. I kind of stopped annotating. I don't know when, I just kind of did, and maybe I'll go back. I don't know, I don't really tab, I don't really annotate that much anymore, like underline annotate, but I have been like dog-earing the bottom corners of pages of like either lines that I find really cool, like good and that I really enjoy, or like just scenes that are like really sweet and like get me giggly. On page 302, I think there's like 418. I don't know if that's like including the like acknowledgements and like an author's note or whatever, but have my coffee. I have an hour until I have to go and take my exam, and then after that I think I have to go to the on-campus Target to buy some milk, and then let me think if I need to buy anything else. I have to write papers. I really do have to write papers, so I'm gonna try to get a lot of this done within the hour that I have right now, and then maybe finish it later tonight. But today is like, I physically have to write these papers, so, because I only have today, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday. Eek! So, y'all are liars. Whoever said that this is like a lot more fiction than Emily Henry's other books, and like her books are romance. Her books are romance heavy. I do understand, like, I think she writes in a way that is very lyrical and different than like the traditional like romances that we have, that we see a lot of, like The Deal by Elle Kennedy, or like, what's another really popular one? Even like Kennedy Ryan's books. Even I love Kennedy Ryan, the Skyline series, but this feels very different than those books, And then also, like, what's another really popular romance? It feels different from Abby Jimenez romances too. I'm not like, I don't love Abby Jimenez books, and I'm just not like in the mood to like read her newest release because I've heard some really mixed things. Oh, also this is like different from Allie Hazelwood. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's very different in the romance category. Honestly, I think Emily Henry's romance books are a lot more romance books than Vary McFarlane's books. I read one recently, I think like last month. It was the blue cover, Mad About You by Vary McFarlane. But I read that one, and that one's like not even 10% romance. Like, if you're pushing it and like you're like every like scene between them is like romance, then it's like probably 20% romance. That one was insane in the like the fiction to romance. But yeah, that one I would say is women's fiction, and then this is very romance. On to saying that I really do like Hayden and Alice, and like I like the romance is cute. I feel like I just don't know much. I don't know, like I want to get into the head of Hayden a lot more, because like right now I can really see the chemistry and like the way that from the way that they talk to each other. Like, I want to know like what Hayden's thinking about. Like, I want to see his inner thoughts about how, like, cause he vocalizes it to Alice. Like, he's like, I really like you, but like we can't do this because I don't want you to resent me because we're fighting for the same job and stuff like that. And like they're both really passionate about their work, and so that's like I just want to see it. I swear to God, if it doesn't show me anything of that, you're joking, Emily Henry. Oh, also, I keep on dwelling on this. I said that this book because it's set in like the coast of Georgia. Okay, Charleston is South Carolina, Savannah is Georgia, and then like Hilton Head is South Carolina too, and Beaufort is where what's it called? Conditions of Will was set, and that is like really close to like the Outer Banks side of North Carolina, and it just feels like really familiar to me. But I said that and I was like, this feels the most familiar out of all the Emily Henry like settings. Their Book Lovers is literally set in Asheville, like near Asheville, North Carolina, but like in the same state. But like I just feel that I feel like Asheville is so different. Like, I don't know the mountainside of North Carolina. I'm much more familiar with the coast, and I like live in the middle, so it doesn't make sense. But I don't know why that this Georgia coast feels so familiar and not literally Asheville, North Carolina. Maybe it's because that one felt really Gilmore Girls, and I didn't really focus on the setting as much. But yeah, this feels really familiar, and I stick by that. It's down to the wire. I fucking knew it. Like, I knew it. To some extent. There's gonna be, yeah. I'm mad. I don't know, I'm kind of a little mad. Did it. I'm gonna sit on my rating, but I think I'm going to start Sunrise on the Reaping tonight. So I'll give you a review after it, and I don't know how long it's gonna be. I'm gonna sit on a rating, but finished it. Hi guys. I should have updated you earlier, but I didn't. And now I'm in chapter 26. Literally, I have chapter 26, chapter 27, and then the epilogue left of Sunrise on the Reaping. Let me tell you so far. So basically this is Haymitch's games, 50th Hunger Games, and so every 25 years there's a quarter quell, and so this is the second quarter quell, and so the twist of this quarter quell was that, I mean, instead of one girl and one boy in the Reaping, for the Hunger Games, they doubled it, so there's gonna be 2 girls and 2 boys from each district, and so Haymitch is one of those kids reaped, and so it's just talking about his time in the Reaping. I want to know if like Susan Collins like knew exactly like all the intricacies for what it was, you know what I mean, like, because you get cameos of like a bunch of different characters that you've already seen in like the original trilogy and stuff like that, and so it was really fun. And so I want to know if like those had like, I want to know if those influenced the movies influenced the book. Also, I read the trilogy pretty recently too, and so in the same month, and I've also been binge watching like other people react to the movies. I think I already said that, but I'm deep in my Hunger Game phase. I've probably watched 10 different YouTubers react to all 4 of the Hunger Games movies, 5 if they've done Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and so I've consumed a bunch of Hunger Games like stuff recently, and so I feel like it's adding to the enjoyment of the book. But I do think it was really good. I'm really enjoying it. I enjoyed it, but I do think sometimes, like, I don't know, sometimes the pacing is a little like off to me, and like I do sometimes get a little bit bored, but I get sucked right back into again. And I also like had a little bit of preconceived notions when I was going into the story, because I really don't know anything about it. Like, I know some characters because I saw the cast of the new movie being like released, revealed, that's what it is, revealed. I really had no idea about what like a lot of that stuff happened. I knew how Haymitch won his games because that was revealed to us in Catching Fire, so I knew that. Honestly, that's really much it. That's really it. I just knew that, and maybe some like bits and pieces from like pop culture of like other people like commenting like, oh, this is what happens in the books, or like this is canon, blah 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 blah. And so I knew that, and I know one specific thing that's going to happen. It hasn't happened yet, but I saw like a tweet, like a really like out of pocket tweet that was like, okay, blah blah blah. And so that's that. I also saw another thing that alluded to like something in the book, and I just never really caught it on, but then now I'm understanding why they said that, blah blah blah. You get it, you understand. So that's the thing, and that's all I gotta say. It's good. I have like 3 chapters left, including the epilogue, so I'll give you my final review after that, but there's not much I can really say. I think it's like one of those books, like you have to read it in publication order, I think. Yeah, I think you have to read all of her books in publication order. Start with original Hunger Games trilogy, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and then Sunrise on the Reaping, because all of those, like all of that information builds up into Sunrise on the Reaping, and it's fun. It's fun, and I cannot believe this is a middle grade series. That is crazy to me still. Like, this middle grade series feels way more mature than like Percy Jackson, which is also a middle grade series. I think Percy Jackson's a little like younger middle grade. I just think YA dystopian fantasy is just like insane to me, because like, what do you mean 14-year-olds are reading the same book that me as a 21-year-old is reading? You know what I mean? It's different. But hey, I was reading some wild stuff as a kid, so I can't really say anything. That's all I have to say. Hi guys. I realized that I never told you my thoughts on Sunrise on the Reaping, and because I got sick and I was like, you guys don't want to hear my sick voice. You don't want to hear my sick voice, and I just didn't want to talk that long. But I'm here to give you my review of Sunrise on the Reaping, and to tell you that this video is not finished. This video is keep going on. We have another book to read, and that's My Friends by Fredrik Backman. We're gonna read this in this video because I don't have any videos that kind of like are on my radar that I want to start with this book, and it's a new release, so it constitutes in this video. And I just wanted to share my thoughts and feelings on this book, because if you've been here for a while, I love Fredrik Backman's books, and one of his older releases, Britt Marie Was Here, I read that earlier this year, I think in January, and I gave that one 5 stars. So that was my second 5-star of the year, my second and only 5-star of the year. So I'm super excited to read this, but I don't really know anything about this. I'm going to talk to you about my thoughts on Sunrise on the Reaping. Overall, I really enjoyed Sunrise on the Reaping. I liked the book, it was fun. 4 stars. Like I said, that I was going to read the original Hunger Games trilogy before I read Sunrise on the Reaping, and I actually did that. I actually finished it. I really enjoyed it. I was in a Hunger Games phase again. During finals week, when I was supposed to be writing papers, I consumed probably 50 hours of Hunger Games movie content, and same with like I was reading the books at the same time, so it was just like a lot. Like I overloaded on the Hunger Games content. I watched like all the four Hunger Games movies, and then also the prequel movie that where Rachel Zegler and Tom Blythe are in. I love that movie, and so I watched that like honestly probably 5 times in the span of the week, like before I read Sunrise on the Reaping. So I was like, I told you, I overloaded on Hunger Games content. Sunrise on the Reaping, my full review, I'm giving it 4 stars. I don't have a physical copy of the book, but I enjoyed the book. I think it was fun. I don't like it as much as I like the original Hunger Games trilogy. So I think my ranking for Hunger Games, like all the books, Catching Fire, first Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping, Mockingjay, and then Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I don't know if it's because I love the movie so much, but like I just had prior knowledge of the movies when I was reading the book, and so maybe if I reread the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I would like it a little bit more, but I just know that that book is so like too long, honestly. And Sunrise on the Reaping was pretty long too. I liked Sunrise on the Reaping. I read Catching Fire, and so that's when Haymitch's like games are like the most alluded to, when Katniss and Peeta were studying up for the Court of Well. So that was fun. I was excited to see how that all panned out. I do think that the games in Haymitch's book were a little rushed. It felt really rushed. It was just like everything was happening. I was like, okay, can we get a moment to like calm down? And I also think that like the lead up before Haymitch's games was too long, and then I wish we saw more after Haymitch's games, and so I just think the pacing of that was like a little off, but I enjoyed it. I liked the characters that were introduced. I do think that this book felt very fan servicey. It just felt like fanfic, and so like every cameo that you could ever imagine from the original trilogy was in Haymitch's book, and I was like, oh my god, that's like, it feels like Suzanne Collins just like was plopping in everybody that she wanted to be here, and it made no sense. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. Now I'm going to be reading My Friends by Fredrik Backman, and I'm gonna give you an update when I start reading that, because I haven't started it yet, but I'm gonna give you an update when I do. So yeah. What do you, come, she's just staring at me through the window. Come on. You coming out or no? Come on. Okay, I come up here. Hi guys, I have just been on a walk and I was listening to the audiobook of My Friends by Fredrik Backman. Pepper's literally going crazy. But I've been listening to the audiobook, so I'm on chapter 20, so I'm on page 155. It says I'm 38% through the audiobook. I'm liking it so far. Something I've noticed that every other Fredrik Backman book, like there's a specific type of humor. It's very just like millennial cringe humor. It's just like, it's a mix between millennial cringe humor and like 11, 12-year-old boy humor, and so that's how he writes his like teenage characters. Sometimes they're really nuanced. They like have really like interesting backstories, but the humor is very 13-year-old boy millennial cringe humor, and so sometimes it's a little like annoying to get through. It didn't feel like this at all in Beartown, and I feel like Beartown felt very serious compared to Anxious People, Britt Marie, and this My Friends. Pepper, don't eat that. This book is about whoa, bless you. You look so cute. Bless you. Bless you. You've got allergies just like your mommy. Just like me, Peppa. The main character of this book is Louisa, and she is a 17-year-old girl about to turn 18. She's in foster care, and so she's obsessed with this painting, and so she goes to where the painting is being exhibited, and it's a world-famous painting. It's a lot of money. A lot of snooty rich people are over in like looking at these artworks. They just want to collect the artwork. She is going to see her oh my god, that bee better not come in. She's about to see her favorite painting ever, and she has a postcard of the painting that she just always carries around. Her best friend Fish died, and so she wants to go see this painting. Like that's her like lifelong dream, and so she runs away, goes to see the painting. In the painting, it's like a picture of a pier and like the sea, and so it's called like the one with the sea and stuff like that. All of a sudden, she encounters the painter, the actual painter of the painting, and he dies. And then so she gets intertwined with all the life of the painting, and so so one of the painter's friends, his name is Ted. And so Ted and Louisa go on this journey. So that's the part I'm at right now. There's like a bigger backstory with this painting. And so this is what's unfolding in the rest of the pages and stuff like that. So it's really talking about the four friends of the painter, this girl named Ali, Jor, one of the friends, and then Ted. So it's about like their lives basically when they're 14. The teenage years is a big part of this book. So it's fun. The teenage humor is a little like I said, millennial cringe humor. That's what a lot of Fredrik Backman's books feel like. I guess like a mix between 12-year-old boy fart humor and then millennial cringe. But it feels very different than Beartown. Beartown feels a lot more serious. And not that this isn't serious. It does delve deep into like very triggering topics. And so I would like look up trigger warnings for those. But yeah, a lot of Fredrik Backman books, they like use humor to like cope with all those things. And so that's what I found so far with all the books that I've read by him. Yeah, I'm gonna keep reading and that's it. Come on. Thanks. You can have any. You can't have any. Hi guys, I'm back and it's time to finally finish this video. I am so excited to finish this. I did finish My Friends by Fredrik Backman. I already told you the plot of it. I'm giving it a 4.25 stars. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I love Fredrik Backman's writing. It's not my favorite Fredrik Backman book. Let me go get my other ones. I don't know why I decided to bring these out. Maybe it's to flex. I've read most of Fredrik Backman's books and I think his most popular is A Man Called Ove. I think it has 2 film adaptations of it, an American one and then I think a Swedish one. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is his most popular work by far. I think this is my least favorite out of the ones. Oh my god. I really do think I need to reread this one. I think I gave it 3 stars something. I do recommend this. I just think I read this in a 24-hour readathon at like 3 in the morning and I finished at like 6 a.m. Do not hold me to this rating, so I think I will reread this one day. His standalone books like A Man Called Ove, Anxious People, Britt Murray Was Here, and My Friend. So these are all standalone books. I don't think there's any like planned sequels to any of them, I think. And his only series that I've read was Beartown. I always compare everything to Beartown because it's my first book that I read by him, and also the first book and the first series that I read by him. And I think he expands on these characters like in such a nuanced way that is very hard to do like within a standalone book. And so I think that's why I love the Beartown series way more than all of his standalone books, because you do get more time with the character. You see a more fleshed out arc for everybody, and so that's really hard to do with one book. And you get way more attached to the characters because it's a 3-book series, and the last book was like 600 something pages. Beartown, Us Against You, and The Winners, like those are my babies. I love the Beartown series. It's my favorite work by him because of all those like points that I pointed out. Like you get way more time with the characters. There's more pages in it, so you like, of course you flush everything out more. The plot's more like, I guess the plot's more engaging because you're so connected to the characters that you would literally just read them like eat sandwiches. I think all of his books are the ones that I've read so far are all very like older main character, except for Beartown, older main character and how they navigate being older and like everything like that. And so most of his characters that are older in the books are men except for Britt Murray. And so I just think it adds a different dynamic. And so because Ove is so old and like he is grieving and everything like that, and he's just like a grumpy old man, it was hard for me to really connect to him, but he did so many like great things for the people around him that really made an impact on them. And so you do really get connected to Ove at the end. This is my least favorite Fredrik Backman book. What is this, a Fredrik Backman like review channel? Like what is this? And then Anxious People is there's a group of characters that you follow along. It's very like you don't know everything, and it like expands like this police investigation of like this hostage situation after a failed bank robbery. It's fun. It's just like engaging. I did really enjoy this. I gave this one 5 stars. I don't know if I would change that, but I just love the way he writes his characters, the way he makes everything come together in the end. I gave Britt Murray Was Here 5 stars as well. This is in January of the year. This one I think is my favorite standalone that he's written. Yeah, I think this is definitely my favorite behind Beartown. I just think that because Britt Murray is an older woman, you can just relate to her so much, and she went through so much to get to the point she's at, and her like navigating being a person by herself without a husband for the first time is just really nice to see, and how she connects with the people of Burke. I think it's Burke. It's just very slice of life as Marie's like navigating her life for the first time by herself, and I love this book. It's so sweet. I loved it. I cried. It reminds me a lot of like the Beartown dynamic with the characters, and how like she interacts with these younger children, and like how this whole town comes together and they protect one another. So it really reminds me of the Beartown dynamic with this. Also, and going into my friends, we have Louisa. She's in the foster system. She runs away from the foster system and she meets one of her favorite artists. She's obsessed with this painting, and in the painting, people kind of overlooked that there's these three characters within the painting of like this like pier ocean type of thing, and so everyone just likes the painting because it's so famous and it's just like beautiful, and it's not like, it doesn't adhere to like the traditional art things. She understands the deeper meaning behind the painting and like the three characters, and she's so transfixed on the three characters. Then she meets the artist and his friend. They were friends since childhood, and so while Louisa's connecting with the older man, the friend, his name is Ted, and this spans present time and then 25 years before when they were 14 years old. And so Ted is just narrating his friends and his friend group during when they're 14, 15, and that summer of their lives. It really is just like slice of life. You're hearing about what these children are going through and how it all connects to the painting that really is really famous and the aftermath of an event. It was really good. I loved it. I think it took me a while to get into it. Like in this book specifically, it's very deep. Like a lot of Fredrik Backman's books deal with heavier topics, and so this one is just like those ones. It deals with really heavy topics, so I would look up trigger warnings if you get triggered easily, if you like you want to know what's going on. A bunch of stuff is mentioned. Before this, the humor that goes into it is very millennial 13-year-old boy humor, like I said, and so sometimes that like pulls me out of the world. I'm just like, oh god, like I don't want to hear about fart jokes, like I just don't care. But at the same time, I do really enjoy like the charmy wittiness of it. Like it's very just like cringe, but charming cringe. And so I still love Fredrik Backman's books. I love the way he creates the characters, but sometimes the humor just doesn't hit with me. And so that's why this is 4.25 stars. Also because it took me a while to get into it, and I'm not like super duper obsessed and like love the characters in a way that I love the Beartown characters and the Britt Marie characters. That's that. I think my ranking, and I haven't read, my grandma asked me to tell you she's sorry. I haven't read that one. I have it downloaded on my Kindle, but I just don't know if I want to read that one because it's in the mind of like a 4-year-old child, and so I'm just like, how am I supposed to get into this right now? I think that's his only book besides like the small novellas that I haven't read yet. Here's my ranking for the Fredrik Backman books. The whole Beartown series, Beartown, Us Against You, The Winners, that's number 1. Even though all those books aren't 5 stars, the whole series is 5 stars, but I gave the first book 5 stars. Next is Britt Marie Was Here, Anxious People, My Friends, and then A Man Called Ove. And then I'm going to give you a recap on the other book. So the first book that we read in this video of like newly anticipated reads was The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. I'm giving this 4.5 stars. I still stick by it. I love the characters. I think the plot was just super fun. I also really enjoyed Georgia. I loved the family dynamics in this. I'm not the biggest fan of Sam Penny in retrospect. I don't really remember what he did. And so that's like, I don't obsess with Sam Penny, but I obsess with the aesthetic of the book. It's very, it's very church-going, southern rich family dynamic. Honestly, Outer Banks like to the max. Honestly, maybe not to the max. Imagine the Outer Banks like Cameron family, but like super duper religious. And so not super duper, but like very church-going, southern type of beat. And there was this one character that I think had like 16 pages of book time, and I obsessed over him. Like I cried over him and George's ex relationship. Yeah, Storm, he's my favorite. Why do I love him? I just really enjoyed George's character. I love the family drama was super fun, very like, ooh, what am I gonna do? And George is very Spencer Reed coded in the fact that she knows about like the psychology of people and like how the mind works. She's literally, I think, getting her like PhD, like a double PhD in psychology and behavioral science. And I think just the way that she fits into the family and how the new family dynamic is now that she's coming back to her family after a long period of estrangement because she was sent over at like 16 to London, to like a London boarding school, and she hasn't seen her family since, and now she's like 25, 24. Sam Penny is her brother Oliver's sponsor because Oliver is in recovery for alcohol addiction. So yeah, there's that. The next book I read was Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I'm giving this 4.5 stars as well. I loved it. My Emily Henry ranking is still Happy Place, Beach Read, Book Lovers, this book, funny story, and then People Meet on Vacation. I really enjoyed the characters. I think I loved Margaret's storyline, which is an old socialite during like the 50s to 70s. She's a big socialite, and then she went into hiding. No one's heard from her, and so Alice is our main character, and she is a writer for this like big trending magazine type of thing. And so she finds her way into finding out where Margaret Ives is now, because her father was obsessed with the Ives family, and Alice was obsessed with the Ives family as well. And so that was that. She goes and finds her in a small coastal town in Georgia. I love the Georgia setting in this book. I think it hits home the most, even though Sunshine Falls was in North Carolina in Book Lovers. I just think that this reminds me of so much of my childhood, going to the beach and everything like that. I don't know, it just felt very homey to me. Alice wants to write the biography of Margaret Ives' story and how she went into hiding, why that happened, everything, all that happened during the time and how the press demonized her. And so she wants to write the biography of her because she's obsessed with her and loves her family and everything about the Ives family history. And then Hayden, he is a Pulitzer Prize winning biographer, and so he's really popular. She sees that Hayden is also vying for the spot to write Margaret's story. Margaret proposes that each of them have a 1-month trial to see who's gonna write her biography, and they each sign an NDA, and so they can't really speak about it. And so as Hayden and Alice are getting closer and they start becoming friends during this 1-month trial period, because they're the only people that really know each other on the island, and the island's really small, they each feel that these interviews with Margaret, she's not telling the full truth, and so they kind of dig deeper into that. And I feel because the Margaret Ives storyline is so prominent in this book, which I loved every single bit of it. It was so fun to me that the relationship in this book, it was in fast forward mode, and I was just okay, I'm not really buying the relationship, but I think they're really cute. I just don't think the relationship is my favorite part of this book at all. I just like the way that Emily Henry was writing characters, the plot of the characters, and the relationship is probably on the lower half of all of the Emily Henry books that I like in terms of them together. That's my review on Great BBL. Then I read Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I don't have a physical copy of that. I'm giving that 4 stars. I hear the things that are this is not fan service. It felt fan service to me, and everyone brings up the argument that Suzanne Collins is always she's only gonna write something when she feels the need to write. It developed the original trilogy trajectory of the revolution of the districts trying to break away from the capital, and so I do think that Sunrise and the Reaping did a really good job of that. I think some of the characters and plot lines moved a little too fast. I think some of the characters were unnecessary in this book, and that did feel very fan service to me. And I guess it's I've seen a few different arguments online and in defense of the book and the characters and how many cameos are fitted into this. I do think that some of the cameos, they just felt very circumstantial, and I just didn't think that they needed to be in there, and I still stand by that. But I do understand how other people are reading it, because this shows how connected they were in the early stages before Katniss and her whole story arc meshed in together. Since this is a prequel book, I do think I wish Haymitch's story after his games was elaborated on a lot more. I really needed more of that between that, and then I think between him getting reaped and the start of the games, that section, it felt like this. This is Haymitch getting reaped. This is the start of the 50th Hunger Games. And then this is the 50th Hunger Games. And then this is the aftermath of the games. It's very, the pacing of this book was a little off to me. I still think it's one of my favorite books in the Hunger Games series. And so I do recommend reading the original trilogy before you read this book. And maybe, I don't know, people are saying, I would read all of her books in publication order. So I did really enjoy it. 4 stars is not a bad rating, but I do think some of the characters felt just very thrown in there to be thrown in there, and just to be oh, this is the callback, this is fun. So there's that. That's my ranking on Sunrise on the Reaping, and I hope you guys enjoyed reading new releases for however long it took. So I enjoyed my time reading them, and the first half of the year is always very fun for new releases, and so the second half of the year I feel like no one is releasing new releases, and I don't really have any on my radar except for R.F. Kuang's book. And honestly, Liz Tom Ford, I think it's Liz Tom Ford or Liz Tom Ford. I'm so sorry. I bow down and forever saying that I didn't really like the Windy City series. I've changed my opinion and I'm so excited for the fifth book of that series coming out in like 10 days or something like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys thought about the new releases. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Goodreads, follow me on Instagram, TikTok. All those are down in the description below. I love talking to you guys, so comment down below anything. I just love talking to you guys. I love replying to the comments. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!